Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
What's so funny?
I'm just saying, I'm glad to be back.
You missed your Super Bowl pick.
No.
It's not funny.
We haven't forgotten.
He's still my Mahomes boy.
Oh, he is?
Yes, my guy.
So we're driving that bandwagon now. I can't keep up.
For the next decade.
Really?
My guy's better than your guy.
Really?
And my guy ain't talking about he ain't going to come to camp either.
My guy's going to get more money than you. Yeah. At least that's what he thinks right now, right? Here we go.
Temporarily, he will.
We have so much to get to today. Speaking of his homeboy, did Mahomes have the greatest run for a QB ever? And is Dak starting to get annoyed with the Cowboys? There is more there. And new reports. Maybe Tom Brady will stay in New England. We will discuss his future. But first, we are going to start with LeBron and the Lakers because it has been over a week since Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others were lost in a tragic helicopter accident. The Lakers, as well as the entire NBA world, are still processing the loss. And LeBron told USA Today, quote, "Every game is going to be emotional." The Lakers lost to the Trailblazers on Friday, but they did beat the Kings on Saturday, and LeBron finished that game with a triple-double. So, Shannon, what do you make of LeBron's last 2 performances?
He's played like a guy that has a lot on his mind and a lot on his heart. Skip, I don't really know how close Kobe and LeBron were before he arrived in L.A., but it seemed like they were becoming closer. Maybe it's, LeBron coming to the Lakers and, something is being said about, you might have an enemy somewhere, but so all of a sudden he comes into the family and he or she comes into the family and you understand that you have to accept that. That's family now. And so we don't fight with people in the family. And it seems like Kobe and LeBron, the relationship has started to grow, started to prosper. And then all of a sudden, Skip, he's going to be constantly reminding of this. Every home game, they're going to break out a chant, Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. Mm-hmm. He has that black patch, KB, on his jersey. Those big black circles on the floor, KB. So there's going to be a constant reminder for the remainder of the season that Kobe Bryant is no longer here. And I think the thing is, Skip, for me, when I look at guys that have, say this the Mamba mentality, guys like Kyrie that hits 54 and only misses 3 or 4 shots. Or you look at a guy that's on a historic tear like a Dame Lillard.
Yep.
Those are natural-born scorers. LeBron can score, but that's not his first cup of tea. He's a facilitator. And so to ask LeBron to go out, I've heard people say, well, it should have been nice if LeBron could have got 60. Skip, that's not his game. LeBron is not a volume shooter. He's not a guy that's going to go out and take 35, 40 shots in order to get 40 points. He knows at the end of the day, the best way for he and the Lakers to honor Kobe Bryant and his legacy is to win the title. Whether he's from here on out averages 35 and 10, that's unimportant. At the end of the day, LeBron James must be the best LeBron James. And the best LeBron James is a guy that can score, but he involves everybody. And Skip, to give that kind of speech, that heartfelt speech that he gave on Friday night before they played Portland, and then to try to go out there and play, I tip my hat. But it's going to be an emotional time for LeBron. It's going to be tough on him. It's going to weigh on him. But he knows he's got to compartmentalize and move forward. And the best way, and he knows it, everybody in the Laker organization knows it, the best way to remember and to honor Kobe Bryant and his legacy is to win this title. Because that's what Kobe said, Skip, before he passed. He said, they got enough. They got 2 top players. They have more than enough to win the title. And that's what is expected. But he's played the last 2 games like a guy that has a lot on his mind and a lot on his heart.
A lot of people do. So, I first am going to take exception to your point about LeBron's more of a facilitator than a scorer. Remember, you keep telling me you have predicted that in short order here, he's going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the greatest scorer in the history of this league.
Right.
He can score.
Yes.
And especially when he chooses to score, he can really, really score.
But Skip, that's not his first order.
I got you. But remember, just a few days back, which is almost inconceivable for my mind to process, he had just passed Kobe on the all-time scoring list.
Right.
And he did it more impressively than Kobe did it to that point. He did it with fewer shots, fewer games. He was more efficient, but he did that.
Yes.
And it was highly impressive. I wouldn't give you passing Jordan because I thought Jordan was more impressive. We could go on and on, especially the three-point shooting, but whatever. Kobe was kind of even Steven on how they did it, and LeBron was more impressive getting to that point.
Okay.
So this is just me. People think I hate LeBron, but I often tell you how much he's still the best passer in basketball. He's still the most durable superstar I've ever seen. And he still is the greatest driver of the basketball I have ever seen and still is to this day, that guy. Mm-hmm. So when he says, I'm going to do this, sometimes he is capable of going Jordan-esque or let's say Kobe-esque. And that's why Friday night, I just fully expected what you just alluded to. Mm-hmm. I did. I just thought this is made to order for him. He's going to say, watch this. Mm-hmm. Because after the IG post of last Tuesday, what are we up to? So it was about a week ago. Mm-hmm. And I'll get to it in just a moment. But he just basically said, Kobe, I got you. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to carry on your legacy. And it basically says, it's my responsibility to put this on my back,
right,
and keep it going. It said to me, the message was, I'm going to be you from here on. And it's a lot. It's a lot to put on one man's shoulders, as broad as they might be. And LeBron always says, I was born with these shoulders,
right,
this broad to carry this, on. Mm-hmm. So Friday night, I got to tell you, I was shocked by what I didn't see from LeBron. And you could be well right. Maybe he just drained. Emotionally, mentally, physically. Maybe nobody was quite ready to play, but we keep seeing these bursts of cracking the universal code. It's like all of a sudden people are inspired by Kobe Bryant, these sort of average to good players. We saw it last week. Buddy Hield went for 42, and Eric Gordon suddenly went for 50.
But what are all of those guys? True scorers. That's really all they bring to the table.
Chris Middleton, I'm not sure he's a true scorer, and he got 51.
He got 51.
I mean, it's like the spirit of Kobe hit him like lightning, right?
Skip, you remember, hold on. I forget what game. I think it was Orlando. LeBron came out in the first half, had 19 points. Then he comes back the second half, and we think he's going to end up with 40. He's like, well, I saw AD struggling. I tried to get AD involved. Scorers don't think like that. You struggling, oh, well, we'll get you right the next game. Let me continue this hot streak. He can't, that's not who he is.
So obviously he gave a great speech before this game. Mm-hmm. It's the first game back at Staples since Kobe tragically passed.
Right.
5 days later. And you're playing a Portland team that at that point was 21-27. They had already won 2 games at Portland by 23 and by 8. So you could think they could have their way. Like Portland's not a great defensive team, so I thought nobody can really match up with LeBron. He can do pretty much what he wants to do in this game. And he had an okay game, but I thought he might go for 60 and have a Mamba out, drop the mic kind of game.
I thought it would be in the 30s, though. I did think he would get 30, probably like a 30-point triple-double. I think you and I spoke about it.
Right.
But I thought it was a 30-point triple-double.
And obviously Kobe in his final game at Staples went for 60. It took 50 shots. And if LeBron had taken 50 shots on Friday night, you wouldn't have heard a peep out of me because he deserved. It was that kind of historical night where you could just create an all-time memory. You'd say, watch this.
Right.
And if it took being selfish, which he is not. He is not a selfish player. If it took acting like a born scorer, I would have been just fine with it. And he had 22. And late in the game, and Dame is still, and Dame's not inspired by the spirit of Kobe. He was already on a torrid pace.
Exactly.
Right? This just took it up a level. So Dame's the one scoring 48 in the game. Mm-hmm. And then late in the game, LeBron got a wide open 3 that would have cut it to 3 with 1:03 left. I'm not sure we have this, but yeah, here it is. LeBron, Ariza falls back, broke his ankles, you could say, and LeBron missed it pretty badly. Mm-hmm. But again, there's a lot of pressure now because that was the sort of Kobe-esque shot now. If you make that one and he kind of fell back from it, you could tell his heart and his legs weren't in that shot. Mm-hmm. But if you cut it to 3 there, maybe you have a sensational, electrifying finish and LeBron closes the deal, and that would have been historical. But obviously, Dame closed the deal, and Portland won the game. And here we went to Sacramento the next night, And it's back-to-back, and this is a man, obviously, in his 17th year at age, what is he, 35? 35. And he's probably half out of gas the next night, and he still played high minutes, and he scored 15 points. Well, he's averaging 25 points. Those are two kind of off nights for LeBron James. That's not exactly what we've come to expect of him this year. So I'm going to ask you, did he maybe get over-emotional and plunge two nights after we lost Kobe with the IG post, which was, it was just spilling with emotion? Did he plunge and bite off a little more than he can chew at this stage and age of his career?
I don't believe he did, Skip. If you remember in that first playoff, the first finals against Golden State, he shot the ball a lot. But
did he?
He knew.
Well, what, he already didn't have Kevin Love, and then he lost Kyrie.
And so basically, you go down there with Tristan and Dellavedova.
What have I always told you? Greatest stretch of LeBron's career were the first 3 games of that series.
So, but he's like now, Skip, he can't get out of character because he still has Anthony Davis.
Okay.
And he understands, and he said it against Orlando. I saw AD struggling. So his nature is, Skip, if he sees someone not in a rhythm, he'll break his rhythm in order to get them in rhythm. I took it as, yes, can LeBron score 30 points a night? Sure he could. But at what expense? At what expense to the team? At what expense to getting out of character is he going to do that?
Okay.
I just believe, Skip, that at the end of the day, he doesn't have the mentality of Dame. Now, Dame is doing something that's unbelievable because he's getting almost 50 and he's getting out 10 assists tonight, which is, I mean, you're talking about you're responsible for 70-plus points a night, Skip.
It's just hard to believe that's going to continue.
No, exactly.
I hope so for his sake.
But that's not who. LeBron is a 3.0, 4.0 version of Magic.
Yeah.
Magic was a pure point guard, could score, give you 20 here and there. But LeBron is a career 27-point-a-night scorer, Skip.
But a lot of times you brag about that. Like, that's great. And it is. It's very good.
What's so great about it, Skip, is that we don't see guys that average that many points also have the number of rebounds and number of assists that's not true bigs.
Okay.
Like, Kareem or we say Karl Malone. But the assist total, I mean, he's doling out assists, which could easily be buckets. Because LeBron is, sometimes we both agree, he's unselfish to a fault. That there's LeBron, go ahead and take that, but he'd pass it.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'm going to get this off my chest because this has been a long-time pet peeve of mine, and this happens routinely after somebody we love dies, somebody beloved for the nation or the world dies, and we get a series of people close to them, in this case, players in the league, and they're trying to top each other with how close they were with Kobe. It's like one guy says, he was like a brother to me. And the next guy's like, well, he was my brother.
Right.
And then I'm hurt by this. And the next guy's saying, I'm even more hurt.
Right.
And it's really about Kobe and his family. It's not about any of these players. Not one of them. It's about them.
Right. None of you are more hurt than Vanessa. And none of you are more hurt than his parents and his sisters. We get it.
The remaining kids. Nobody is. And that's obvious. But everybody gets carried away and they internalize it and they personalize it. And then it's all of a sudden, and they're all stars in and of their own rights. And then it's about them.
Right.
How much are you hurting? Man, I'm hurting this bad.
Right.
Okay, we got it. But in LeBron's case, and you make a good point, I'm not sure how close he was to Kobe. It's widely reported they weren't very close until the last few weeks before he was about to pass him. And then we had Snoop on the show in Miami, and Snoop is very close to a lot of these players, and he made a very strong point that the greatest thing Kobe the gift he left LeBron was he blessed him over the last few weeks before LeBron passed him.
Right.
He said to Laker Nation, I embrace this. I love this.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all okay. And he didn't do that before. And we saw what happened to the murals when LeBron landed in L.A., right? It's like you put up a LeBron mural and it's going to get defaced because this is Kobe's country.
Town.
Yeah, here we go. So that was a beautiful thing that he left LeBron. But then LeBron, and again, I got the IG post here, and it was just 48 hours later.
Right.
And he is spilling over, and he's referring to his niece, Gigi, okay? And, man, I love you, big bro. And I don't know how close they were, but LeBron is feeling the weight of Laker nation on his shoulders. Like, I have to do this. I have to carry all this on.
Skip, it's something to be said, because he said he met Kobe for the first time when he was 15.
Yeah.
So you meet a guy that, obviously your dreams and aspiration is to play in the NBA. Here's a young guy right out of high school. Kobe was 41, so LeBron's 35, so 6 years. So Kobe was 21. So Kobe has been in the league like 4 years and was already a champion. And you're thinking he probably gave LeBron a pair of shoes. Man, Kobe Bryant gave me. I mean, can you imagine, Skip, as a high schooler and an NBA or an NFL player, takes a picture with you or give you a gift of a pair of shoes or a pair of cleats? That means something. That resonated. Because remember, Shaq held it against him, David Robinson, that he wouldn't take a picture with him or he wouldn't sign an autograph. And Shaq never forgot it and says every time I took the floor, I wanted to punish him. Well, Kobe was just the opposite. It was like Kobe was an assassin on the court, but he took time for everybody off the court. He's like, he didn't have no enemies off the court. He's like, now on the court, it's a different story now. But like I said, I don't know how close they were. And it seemed like their relationship was building, was growing.
Maybe, yeah.
Skip, it's hard to be close to somebody when you're a contemporary because you're going after the same thing. I don't really know how close Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were when they're competing head-to-head against each other.
Not very.
They're a lot closer now, aren't they? Now that Payne's retired. So it's easy to get close to someone when you're not after the same thing I'm after. Because Skip, one of us got to get hurt. One of us got to be disappointed. And if I got a choice between your disappointment and mine, guess which one I'm choosing? Yours. So for me, Skip, I understand. And a lot of players do that, Skip. I mean, Shaq is, everybody that Shaq played with, their kids, he's their uncle.
Yep.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Even Christian McCaffrey, he calls me Unc.
Yeah.
And it's just the thing. You know what I'm saying? When you watch kids grow up, and LeBron said something very interesting. He said the last couple of years is the happiest I think I've ever seen Kobe.
Sure.
Not competing for titles, not at this point in time, he can't, well, I'm one of the 2 or 3 greatest players currently playing. It was all about dad time. It's all about taking girls to and
he was channeling his competitive drive, especially through Gigi, because she looked like she could be the Kobe of female basketball.
And Skip, that's the thing. He's like, I don't care what they do. Oh, this is what you want? He's because the oldest
she's a volleyball
daughter,
player.
she's a volleyball player. Okay, that's what your love, that's what your passion is.
Yep.
But Skip, can you imagine? I mean, you got a little girl and she wants to be like daddy.
And she's showing signs of being able to be like that.
I think the oldest girl is Natalia. That's her name, Natalia. And it's just like, she's at the game, and she's asking questions. And, Christian McCaffrey, when he was at, this is like, I had a dad, and it was a great feeling to be able to ask him questions about football, knowing my dad's played at the highest level.
Yep.
Well, what better coach you can get than Kobe?
Nope. So, in the end, I believe LeBron did get too over-emotional, and again, I think he delivered a message that many in Laker Nation leaped to the conclusion of, oh, so you're now going to be our Kobe. You're going to continue on. This is my 2 cents from a distance. I don't believe LeBron was ever better than Kobe Bryant. That's just me. And so it's way too much to even suggest now, especially in year 17. Right. Oh, I'll do this. To carry on the tradition is fine. It's competing. It's Mamba mentality.
Right.
That's all fine. And LeBron did sort of amend his message in the pregame speech that he gave Friday night, in which he just threw his notes away and talked off the top of his head.
True.
And he said, I want to continue along with my teammates to continue the legacy.
Right.
Aha! Now that's a little different.
Right.
Because that's correct. That's the right perspective.
Because what,
Okay?
Skip? At the end of the day, if let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, he drops 60, or he has a stretch in the next 10 games, he drops 60, he drops 45, he drops 38, he drops 50, and they don't win the title, what's that? He understands that this is about a title. Skip, that's all that matters to the Lakers.
Yep.
It doesn't care if they can win. They're on pace to win 60. I believe they're going to win 60-plus games. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if Adam Silver is not handing you the Larry O'Brien trophy, your season was a failure. It's as simple as that. That's what the Lakers. You make that trade and you give up all those first-round picks and you give up Brandon Ingram, who's an all-star.
Yep.
You give up Hart and you give up Lonzo Ball, who's playing very well.
Yep.
You give all that up to get AD and you bring in some of the other pieces. It's a title. It's a title or nothing.
Okay? So you plunged the day after we lost Kobe, our Monday in Miami, and it surprised me a little bit because I hadn't my mind wouldn't go there yet, but you said, this is going to be a championship run.
Yes.
This is going to inspire this team to go win this championship. Okay? It could. It well could. But the pressure is mounting not only on LeBron, but on this team because the passing of Kobe could turn into a great motivation for this team, or it also could a huge weight because they're still trying to grieve through it and get over it. And especially Laker Nation, but the NBA world is now saying, okay, here you go, right?
And part of Mamba mentality is what? It's persevering. I've heard a lot of conversation. He said, put a smile on your face, put one foot in front of the other, and continue on. Okay, guys, I'm past. Okay, you grieved. But it's time to pick yourself up and go play basketball and go play like you know I would want you to play.
Well, here we go. And it still looks to me like it's going to come down between Lakers and Clippers.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about Lakers versus Clipper a little more later in the show. But I watched the whole game because my Spurs were playing the Clippers last night. And they have also said, we are going to be inspired by Kobe. And we talked about that last week. Doc Rivers made that point. He was basically saying, we have as many connections to Kobe as you guys do, right?
Yeah, you don't.
We heard from Snoop how close Kawhi was to
very
Kobe.
Close. According to Snoop, very close.
But San Antonio, I'm sorry.
Y'all
about to catch 2 L's. I mean, we had a 2-for-1 special at the Staples, and you just happen to be the visitor.
Well, once again, now they have to play the Lakers back-to-back after the Clippers softened them up.
You didn't say anything about that. When Orlando, when we played Orlando, and then y'all got them the next night and blew them out.
I think that's the only instance of that all year. It's always the other way around. You get the back-to-back.
But I'm just saying, you didn't mention anything about us softening them up. You was like, oh, the Clippers just demolished this team.
Clippers just tenderized my Spurs for you guys. So you should just put them right on the fire.
Oh, yeah, right on the Barbie.
Yep.
Yeah, right on the Barbie.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's good to know.
We'll see. Oh, we got a case to do on this?
No.
Shall we?
Whoa, hold on. What you mean, no?
We haven't done that in a while. I'd like to
best
get
shot
some
last
going.
night. They're up 3 with 3 minutes left, and then Kawhi and Paul George said, nope.
Let's turn this on.
Well, it won't even be 3 minutes. The game probably be over in the first 3 minutes. Oh, bro.
Despite the Cowboys publicly saying they want to sign Dak Prescott to a long-term contract extension, reports say that both sides are at an impasse and the franchise tag looks, quote, inevitable. We have a new twist, though. When asked about it last week, Dak said he likely won't show up this offseason without a deal, saying, quote, be sure to report that. So, Shannon,
here we go.
what does this tell you?
Tell me what I've been telling Skip Bayless all along. I've been trying to tell you this, Skip. I told you this day was coming. I foretold of this story. Skip, you know this, Skip. I don't care how nice a person is, every man has a breaking point. Now, you keep that, and Dak's like, whoa, what's the holdup? You had last offseason, you had during the season, and we still don't have a deal done. Now, you keep telling me, I'm your guy. What's going on? I don't see nothing. I see better than I hear. You telling me I'm your guy, but I don't see no contract. You started this, Skip, and I told you they started sowing poison seeds at the combine. Skip, if I got a house for sale, I list the house for $10 million. People come in and see it. Now, if I want to cut them a deal and say, okay, you know what? You the first one to show up, I sell it for $9 million. That's my choice. But don't you come in asking for no discount off the top. It's mine. They come in off the top before we even negotiated, Jenny.
Yeah.
You asking for a discount. There is a reason. Skip, when last time you saw a Four Seasons or a Ritz-Carlton hotel room on discount? Because this is what we know about discounts. If you start giving people discounts, they'll expect discounts forever.
Yep.
So they said, no, we're not going to start that. We're not going to start that bad precedent. You want discount, go to Dollar Tree. Go to Dollar General. They give you discounts. But at here, we high end, bro. Pay retail. Skip Bayless, I told you this was coming. Y'all keep your ticking Dak off. And it ain't nothing like old mad Dak. Old Mississippi. Oh, he from Louisiana. But he spent a lot of time in Mississippi. And Dak getting upset with you guys.
Yep.
Because y'all keep jerking him around, Skip, because y'all keep saying he's your guy. But Dak is saying, y'all played me like Kirk Cousins. Y'all played me to the left. So y'all leave me no choice but to play you to the right. Now print that.
Print that. Okay, it is my turn.
Yes.
By the way, before I launch on this, the last time you foretold of something, Jimmy G was going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl. That's the last foretelling
that was
of yours.
a couple days ago.
Just
You're
for the
right.
record.
I mean, Skip,
Foretold
let me ask you a
this.
question.
You're a seer.
How many weathermen lose their jobs? They wrong all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I was wrong once.
Oh, one time.
One time this
well,
year.
you're not going to forget it, so.
It might have been a big time, but it was just once.
So you're in all your glory because the guy you picked against in the Super Bowl is now on top. So you're back driving my homeboy's bandwagon, and you're going to drive that bandwagon right through the locker room wall of my Dallas Cowboys because dissension is mounting. We've got issues in our locker room.
Oh, you finally see it now.
Finally, our quarterback basically just declared war on my owner. That's what he did. It was a declaration of war. Print that. I won't be around. Well, that's way out of character for this young man, who I've told you is becoming one of the great leaders in sports. And I don't love it. And I don't love the predicament and situation that Dak Prescott and his agent are finding themselves in. So, yesterday was the first day after Super Bowl week. I had some time to make some calls about this because we were just covered up in Super Bowl and then the Kobe tragedy, and it was a long, hard week in Miami. It was a great week, but I just didn't have time to make these calls. So I went to all my sources in and around this situation, and this is what I was told. You have your sources, now I have a few of my own. Most people on the perimeter of this story believe that Todd France, the agent, is overplaying his hand, but they have some sympathy for him because right now, we're not sure where the salary cap is heading. There are projections that the cap that was 188 this year is going to go a little north of 200 million for next year, 201, according to several reports. Well, that's a pretty big leap for team. And remember, the CBA, collective bargaining agreement, is up after next season.
Correct.
So again, they could lock heads, lock horns. And I don't know what's going to come out of that. Could the cap go up significantly again? It could.
Yes.
Could the rules kind of change?
Especially if they add that 17th game.
If they add the 17th game, it could go significantly up. So I believe, from everything I've been told, that Todd France believes he's stuck right now because the last thing he wants, and he's a very good agent, he's got Aaron Donald, DeAndre Hopkins, other stars. You don't want to take a deal now that seems really good until you project it into the next 2 years of future, and it suddenly gets rendered obsolete by what's about to happen.
Because they're projecting the league's revenue, Skip, to be upwards of $25 billion by 2027.
Okay, so if you're negotiating by now standards, they're asking for absurd dollars that even you, if you had the offer in front of you, you'd say, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Really? Seriously? And right now, Jerry and Steven are saying, seriously? But if you look into the future, not knowing what the future is going to bring, and if you look at what Mahomes is going to get, and I assume it's going to happen this offseason.
Probably going to be next.
Do you?
Really?
Yeah.
Wait
Well, I would think
year?
they would try to, I just don't know if you'd take, they're going to offer, I would guess, something that would be extraordinary.
You got $200 million with $40 million average.
All right, will they
You
do
got
that?
that laying around?
Okay, well, so that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And do I think Dak is Mahomes in value? I do not.
Deshaun?
Okay, so all of a sudden it's going to go
dominoes.
up, way up.
Correct.
And the agent in particular does not want to get stuck sort of holding a bad bag, right?
Because guess what happens, Skip? Other agents will use that against him because there are more college players coming out, and they're going, he signed a bad deal for that.
Sure.
Everybody knows that the cap is going up. It's been going up on the average of, 10%, 15% a year, and he took a deal as if the cap wasn't going to go up, so they'll use that against him. So he knows what he's up against. Not only is he up against Jerry Jones, but he's up against other agents bad-mouthing him about the contract he gets Dak.
Yeah. So I've said this many times about Jerry Jones. around whom I've spent thousands of hours, at least hundreds of hours. He can be dumb. He can say dumb things, but he ain't stupid.
Right.
And when it comes to matters of money, he really ain't stupid because he's really smart.
Yeah.
And he knows how to manipulate the cap, and he knows what works. And he's had a long history of overpaying players he loves, and I believe he loves Dak Prescott. I believe he does not love that quote from Dak from yesterday.
Yeah.
But remember, in the end, he and Zeke started to go at it before he gave Zeke the biggest deal any running back's ever gotten.
Yep.
So it is part of the process. I just didn't want to hear that from the leader of my team because I do not consider Ezekiel Elliott the leader of my football team. So Zeke's had off-field incidents. We know that. So in his context, if he wants to take shots at Jerry or vice versa, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with this because it's beneath the dignity of my quarterback.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Having talked to Dak a little bit, this is so far, he is so mild-mannered. He is so, I'm going to say everything that's right because I understand how to play this game as a quarterback. So it tells you that he's really frustrated because you keep saying we're going to get a deal done. He's like, you had last offseason.
We never hear
You had the
like
entire season to get this deal done. And plus another guy that's going to be coming up down the pipeline, Skip, Lamar Jackson. He's going to be coming down the pipeline to get a boatload of money.
All right.
And plus, Skip, you don't want to be, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, Dak takes $33 million a year with $100 million. Okay, and here comes Deshaun. Deshaun gets 37 with 120. Wow, wait a minute. Agent's going to point to that, that's a bad deal. He's going to lose clients because of that, Skip.
Wow.
The reason why you get clients is Drew Rosenhaus, you can say whatever you want to say, but guys are still going to Drew because he gets big dollars. You might not like how he goes about it and he takes some of the bad apples, but he gets them paid. So he understands what he's up against. The cap's going to go up. He's like, even if it doesn't go up this year, guess what's going to happen with that new CBA? And there's streaming services, Apple, Amazon, talk about they made $15 billion on YouTube ads alone. You know that, Skip, now you don't think the NFL will put games on Amazon or Apple? You're fooling yourself. They'll put it on your TV. Let you pay Skip Bayless. You got $8 million over there? Right. Because you know how the NFL works, Skip Bayless. They're about dollars.
Found a way.
And I'm with you in principle on this because in spirit, I want them all to get way more than they get. But there is a cap unless they can fight successfully in the next CBA to eliminate the cap. If you can get that done.
Owners will never do that.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm
a few owners will. Jerry's like, okay, do away with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
He would because he's got Steinbrenner in him. And he just say, well, I'll just outbid all of you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Unlimited funds.
Like he always says, you wouldn't believe the check I would write to win another Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Well, then if you take the cap off, literally.
But Skip, hold on. You say he's a businessman, and you say they always find a way to manipulate the cap. Would Dak say manipulate the cap in my favor? So you manipulate it in your favor, not manipulate it in my favor.
So what do I know about Dak Prescott? He's a tough young man. He's got a strong backbone. And it's why I love him as a quarterback because he's a playmaker. He didn't make enough plays this past year, but he put up big numbers. And he's been pushed into a corner, and I'm sure he's got an agent in his ear who he believes in,
of course,
trusts.
Yes.
And the agent is saying, no, we've got to fight. We got to dig in and fight.
Right.
And now I've got the quarterback of my team threatening to miss an off-season program featuring a brand new head coach.
How many teams make the Super Bowl, Skip, when the quarterback holds out? And I told you, I said, now, if the quarterback, Kellen Moore, if he's calling plays, because if you go back and look at all the West Coast coaches that's gotten head coaching jobs, from Mike Shanahan to John Gruden, yada, 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 how many of them, Skip, go to a new team and leave said offense in place? They might leave said defense in place, especially if they got a good DC. But they're not leaving that offense.
Yep.
And it tells me that they're anticipating Dak holding out because they're going to franchise him because this thing's not getting done. But then it's going to get really contentious because if it's not a long-term deal is not agreed to by July 15th, guess what? There's no choice but to play up under that tag.
They are going to try to keep the terminology the same, but the more I read, the more I hear, Mike McCarthy is going to assert himself here. He's going to impose some of his new will on this offense, so it will change in fairly significant ways, except for terminology, just in case the quarterback isn't there, so that he can slide back in when they get the deal, or either get it done or tag him.
Yeah.
Okay, so my prediction is, just my gut feeling after talking to people is, they're going to battle this down to the deadline, and the deadline is going to be the end of that period through which you can franchise tag somebody, exclusive tag somebody. And I think it ends, I said it yesterday, March 10th. I forgot to look it back up.
I believe it is, but then they have a little more time.
Okay, so whatever that last drop dead day is, that they will get a deal done. I just believe it will take being pushed to the edge of the cliff and they will get a deal done. I believe Jerry believes this is his man, and when Jerry decides he wants somebody, he will finally pay the freight to get that somebody. And will he overpay? He well might, but in the grand scheme of things, he's a franchise quarterback, and I trust him and I believe in him. So if it takes going to $40 million or whatever it might be, you might just have to do it.
Skip, you remember when J.J. Watt signed that big deal, and everybody's like, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in 2 years, J.J. Watt was the 10th highest paid defensive player.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, you and I know, all three of us know, what real estate is like here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And you keep looking at the prices and you say, you can't do that. And then if you do that, 5 years from now, you'll say,
I'm glad I did that.
Wow.
Exactly.
What a great deal I made.
Exactly.
Right?
It's wild.
It's
Who lives
wild.
here? I
Who
want to
does
know what
live
everyone
here?
doing for
Who
work.
buys here? I know that
I
you
feel
can
like
rent.
I'm trying to
I
figure
feel
it
like
out.
I'm visiting.
You mentioned a $10 million house at the beginning of this. You selling a $10 million house, Shannon? Jeez, life must be
That's
good.
just like 2 bedrooms, one bath, right?
No, you know, I get a little something, like an acre and a half,
little something.
living size pool, guest house. Skip took care of his boy.
You know, I do not know. So the deadline, Skip, is March 10th, just so
March
you know.
10th.
So you had that right.
Okay.
So it's coming up, but we've got time. And it's time now to talk about a Super Bowl winning QB. Patrick Mahomes' heart was on display all playoffs when he became the first starting QB in NFL history to have 3 double-digit comebacks in a single postseason. He's also the youngest player in NFL history to win an MVP and a Super Bowl, and he's the youngest QB to win Super Bowl MVP. He joins Tom Brady as the only 2 quarterbacks to win Super Bowl MVP before 25. Not so bad. I'm trying to think of what I was doing when I was 25. It wasn't that. So Shannon.
You didn't win the Super Bowl before 25?
Was this the greatest run for a quarterback ever?
Skip, I believe it is, Skip. When you look at the totality of what he was able to do, down 24 to the Texans, down 10 to the Titans, down 10 to the 49ers, scored the most points in fourth quarter history. You look at his cumulative, Skip, we looking at his QBR over a 3-game span. It's 89. You take Tom Brady's 2 best, it's not even close. And I know you love QBR. You love QBR, right? You still like that stat?
Is it my turn?
No. Because 24, they averaged, this is the third, and we did a 3-game minimum, Skip. It's the third highest over 3 games. Only the 49ers had 2 games higher. They averaged 39 points a game. He had the most total touchdowns, 12. Averaged 300 yards passing, led the team twice in rushing. QBR of 89 in the postseason. We go back to Brady because I know you're going to bring this up.
Yeah.
In 14, guess what Brady QBR was, Skip? 80. In 16, it was a 74. Now, 3 games. Oh, we did a 3-game stretch. Yeah. You can look it up. Now, if you look at the names that he beat, I believe Flacco and Breeze, because I did a story with John Saraceno back when Breeze did his. Breeze beat Warner, Favre, and Manning. At the time, they had a total, if I'm not mistaken, 9 MVPs. Flacco beat Luck, Brady, and Manning. We know what those guys represent.
Good.
Flacco's biggest deficit he overcame was 7 points at Denver. The biggest deficit that Breeze overcame was the first quarter 10-point deficit to Peyton Manning. But this young man overcame 24, overcame 10, and in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter, and in under 7 minutes went and got you 21 straight points, Skip. It's hard to believe that somebody had a better 3-game total than what this young man just did over the last month. I'm sorry, Skip. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Actually, I don't. I love bringing you bad news. Patrick Mahomes is here to stay, and he just put together on record It's etched in stone now, Skip. The greatest postseason run in NFL history.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's my turn now. So we
Please.
just watched a Super Bowl in which Patrick Mahomes won MVP with the lowest QBR any MVP of a Super Bowl has ever had. Only 62 QBR in the Super Bowl.
It'd been interesting what Tom Brady would have been in 2001, but they didn't have QBR back then. It'd have been very interesting, Jenny, but that ain't none of my business. I don't even know why I'll cut you off.
That's
It's your
none
turn.
of this topic's business because it has nothing to do with this topic.
Okay.
So what did we just see? We saw a quarterback named Patrick Mahomes threw 2 ugly interceptions, one
True.
third quarter, one early fourth.
Run, Skip.
And it was 20-10. He had scored a grand total of 10 points until what happened? The number one blame that you laid yesterday to start the show was on the doorstep of a young man you watched grow up, your coach Mike Shanahan's son, Kyle, and you blamed him the most. You didn't credit Mahomes as much as you blamed Kyle Shanahan for having the game in the palms of his hands.
I
right?
said, what happened? You asked me what happened. I said, my homeboy happened.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my homeboy happened.
But you blamed Kyle Shanahan, and you said they should have won the football game.
They should have.
Right? They should have won the football game.
Atlanta should have won too, but
Okay,
they didn't.
all right, but they did not. So just for perspective, Patrick Mahomes got every break possible, and thanks to the Tennessee Titans, Baltimore got eliminated and New England got eliminated and gave Kansas City 2 home games that they did not deserve.
If you don't mind me asking, did the Chiefs beat either of those teams in the regular season? I just want the people at home to understand. Did they beat the Baltimore Ravens or did they beat the New England Patriots at any point in time during the 2019 season? A simple no or a simple yes will suffice.
What does it matter to this topic?
You just said they got knocked out, so Kansas City didn't have to play those teams after they had already beaten those teams, Jenny.
What did you think was going to happen on the very last regular season week of this past season? Did you think Kansas City was going to get 2 home games? You did not.
I don't believe it would have mattered.
Okay, well, we'll never know because I believe it really, really would have mattered because they were going to have to deal with either going to New England and or going to Baltimore.
They went in week
This is
20.
different. This is different.
How?
The money is on the table now.
And
Baltimore got way, way better after they lost to Kansas City, like way better. Baltimore was the best team in football. Even you acknowledge that.
Let me ask you a question. After Kansas City beat New England, did they get better or did they get worse?
Well, I don't know. You could say they got better, but New
No, they
England
didn't.
looked like they were poised to get better. Okay? So the point is, he got to play a 10-6 Texans team, right, at home.
Yeah.
And he did fall behind 24-0. You always tell me about Dak Prescott. Did he get the ball?
He got it.
The 24-0. What
He got it.
happened?
He got it.
Well, that wasn't very good, right?
But guess what? The difference is between your guy and my guy is that my guy doesn't turn the ball over in the process of getting down by 24. Your guy gave up 3 picks to Green Bay.
Yep, and then Bill O'Brien said,
Oh, my-
I think I'll take the field goal, right? And he could have ended the game right there. That's what I believe.
Ain't no game ending.
Okay,
When you
and
got
then
that
here
guy-
came the Titans to Kansas City, and I don't know what got into Mike Vrabel. He says, I think I'll rush 3 the whole game. Really?
Oh, my goodness.
And then the Titans on a 27-yard touchdown run just said, we give up. We quit. We go home. Unless you guys want to play flag football, we quit.
But this is what you do. You always talk about the 9-7 Tennessee Titans. But if I'm not mistaken, the 9-7 Titans went on the road and beat a 14-2 Baltimore team that had the second unanimous MVP in NFL history.
And that was forced to take 3 weeks off before it got to play that playoff game.
And then that same team went on the road, where they went on the road first, and beat Tom Brady. Now, you say the money on the line. Now, Jenny, he just said when the money's on the line, Tom Brady is a big money player.
Well, speaking about the money on the line, so it gets to be 3rd and 15, game on the line the other night, and Patrick Mahomes basically slung a duck. He threw a high-risk, up-for-grabs punt on 3rd and 15, and I don't know, it came down in the hands of Tyreek Hill, who had to turn completely around and come back for the football. That's just luck, man.
Skip.
I don't know. Is that a great throw?
If I'm not mistaken, my numbers might be a little off, but did you know on 3rd and 15 this year, Patrick Mahomes is like 7 of 10? with 3 touchdowns on 3rd and 15, Jenny. So that's not an accident. See, an accident is 1 of 8. An accident is 2 of 10. But when you 7 of 10, you 70% on 3rd and 15 with 3 tubs, that's not an accident.
Just 1 year ago, I watched Tom Brady go into Mahomes' home and complete 3 straight 3rd and 10s in overtime. It's historical. It's never happened before. And they were all just rockets.
Okay, Skip, we talk about.
I didn't see him throw any punts to anybody.
We're saying the greatest postseason run. So if doing that, if he had followed it up with another 2 or 3 touchdown performance against the Rams, okay, you might be onto something. I might have to fight you.
Okay, well, I'm not doing that one. You brought it up early, and thank you for
bring
doing
it up.
That. Open the door. Let's do 2014 Tom Brady, because the truth is, I could have picked 2017. I could have picked 2018. I'll take 2014. Shall we?
Yes, you shall.
Because Baltimore, mid-3rd quarter, goes up. Well, thanks to Joe Flacco, who's been extraordinary in the postseason. Joe Flacco goes up 28-14 at New England.
Yes.
And guess what? Tom Brady said, no, not in my house.
If you don't mind me asking,
in my house.
If you don't mind me asking, why was Joe Flacco allowed to go up 28-14 if Tom Brady's the quarterback? Because you just criticized Patrick Mahomes, boy, for being down 24-0. I just need to know, Skip.
Joe Flacco has put up better postseason numbers than you could argue any quarterback ever has. Right? Okay, so that's Joe Flacco he's up against, and he said no. And in the second half, he goes 18-26 for 165, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they pull it back out 35-31 thanks to Tom Brady. Well, Mahomes, I think that might even be beyond Mahomes, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
You picking out one game. I said the totality.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Doing totality.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
But did you tell the people?
So guess what happens at halftime of the AFC Championship game? The league, thanks to the whistle-blowing Indianapolis Colts, they go in at halftime and they say, you're cheating.
Right.
Your footballs are illegally deflated.
Okay.
And it gets back to Tom Brady. They're accusing us of cheating. And so they're inflating our footballs until you can barely get your hand around. Well, that's what they went way back up. And in the second
so now
half.
He's throwing basketballs.
Yeah, he's throwing basketballs. And he comes back out in the second half and he says, watch this.
Okay.
And he goes 12 of 14 for 131 with legally inflated footballs for 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Kaboom. And then, of course, after the year's over, he goes and wins in federal court against the league. I thought that was another kaboom.
But Skip,
right?
Even in all those, guess what he did? He had more turnovers than Patrick Mahomes.
Time out. Now we get to the Super Bowl game.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
And guess what? Let's do degree of difficulty, because this is the Legion of Boom. This is one of the greatest defenses in the history of this league. This is the defense that led the league in overall defense and led the league in pass defense. Hurt. Stop
Cam
Were they out there?
Whoa!
Were they out there?
Okay.
Yes, they were.
I want you to remember that. Now, we're going to have a discussion next year about Dak Prescott and his shoulder. Okay. I want you to remember you said he was out there.
Yeah,
okay,
it's one thing for a quarterback shoulder.
Oh, nice.
Well, it is. It's very
different. So how the DB supposed to run with a torn knee ligament?
Stop it.
Richard Sherman had a torn elbow ligament.
Oh, stop it. So, guess what the score was going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
It was 24-14 Seattle.
10-point lead.
Against that defense? Are you kidding me?
Let me ask you a question. So, I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So, the 49ers is a bump on defense.
They're pretty good, but they're not this group. Nobody would rank them above this group.
Hold on.
This is the Legion of Boom.
Okay, but
Kansas City had the Legion of Zoom.
But guess what? Guess what you said. Now, the guy, the defense that was just okay for you, you picked one of those guys on the defense to be the Super Bowl MVP. You picked Nick Bosa. Why would you pick a guy on a so-so defense to be the MVP?
Yeah, and did you see what Pro Football Focus said? They ranked the top players throughout the playoffs.
Yes.
And what's the tackle's name? Mitchell Schwartz for Kansas City was ranked number 1. So he played the best at his position. Mahomes was second. Nick Bosa was third on that list for the whole playoffs.
He did have a good
He
playoff.
became a force. So I think that was a pretty good pick if Kyle Shanahan hadn't spit the bid again and said, I think I'll give the game to Jimmy Garoppolo, your MVP pick.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Granted, all those things may be true. But still, you have to have someone to answer the bell on the other side.
Okay, so answering the bell in the Super Bowl was Tom Brady, once again, against the Legion of Boom in the fourth quarter, he goes 13 of 15 for 124, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, and they roar back to win the game 28-24.
So,
that is off the charts great. So I'm sorry, I just gave you 3 in a row, and I'll take this run with this degree of difficulty over what you just said.
He had fewer touchdowns, more interceptions, and a lower QBR.
I'm going to close the case. Guess who Tom Brady's top 2 receivers were during that playoff run in 2014? Ready for this? Little Julian Edelman, number 1, and number 2 was his little running back, Shane Vereen. Those are the top 2 receivers.
Oh, no. Whoa.
Your top 2 receivers this playoff run, Travis Kelce and Tyreek.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, you see what he did?
Boom.
Hold on.
Over. Case closed. Ginny, you can just go to break.
No, wait a minute.
It's over.
Wait.
Hold on. If you don't mind me asking, if I'm not mistaken, I was watching the pregame, and I saw a guy with like a maroon or reddish blazer that had 100 on it, and his name was Rob Gronkowski. Now, see, he left that out, and he did that on purpose, Jenny. So was Rob Gronkowski one of the 100 greatest players in the 100-year history of the NFL?
Yep.
Did he play in 2014?
He did.
Yes or no?
He was the 3rd highest receiver, and by the way, the 4th highest was Brandon LaFell, the legendary Brandon LaFell.
So I just want to know.
And your 3rd highest was Sammy Watkins. I'll take Sammy Watkins over Brandon LaFell any day.
So I just want to know, of the receivers on Kansas City, which one of those are better than Gronk?
Well, a lot of people are probably going to say that Travis Kelce is becoming better than Gronk.
He becoming. I'm saying right as we speak.
I don't know. He's pretty good.
He great.
Yep.
Travis Kelce is special.
Yep.
But
so let's see. Julian Tyreek.
At this point,
Don't do that.
I'm going Tyreek.
Yeah.
You see the speed?
Yeah, Tyreek is unbelievable.
Olympic speed.
The greatest playoff run in a minimum of 3 games. I hope my homeboy got that.
All right.
Shannon Sharpe.
According to NFL Network, the Patriots want to keep Tom Brady in New England and are willing to pay him at least $30 million per season. They reportedly believe that he has, quote, 1 or 2 good years left. This would be a change for the Patriots, who never paid Brady more than $23 million a year. So, Shannon, does this make you think Brady will stay in Foxborough?
I don't, because I think the damage has been done. I think the interview that he gave last year, Skip, that you referenced a lot, was very telling, in which he talked to Jim Gray about his appreciation, his love, and he spoke like, after all I've done, I'm having to have this conversation.
That was actually now 2 years.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, it was. I think it was after the loss. Was it after? I think it was after the loss to Philly. Yeah.
Got it.
And Skip, it's like the Jimmy G might have been the final straw.
Yep.
That broke the camel's back, because he's like, after all I've done, you still, all the pay cuts, all the giving you leeway to come and go, and I never say anything about the talent level that you have around me. I'm just a good soldier. And you want to replace me. Skip, I think Brady's mind is made up, because at the end of the day, he goes back. We're still in the same place. Who gets the credit? Brady knows, in order for him to get the credit that he deserves, somebody has to leave. Well, it doesn't look like Coach Belichick is going. He has the opportunity to leave. Skip, and I think now the reports are saying $30 million, in excess of $30 million. It's kind of like being in a relationship. And you've had every opportunity to do the right thing. And at the very last minute, when she says she's leaving, trust me, I know, you're like, okay, this is what I do to keep you. You're like, Shannon, I made up my mind. You gone. And I believe that's what's going to happen to Tom. I believe that's what's going to happen to the Patriots. Skip, sometimes, when people feel they've been wrong for so long and you've had every opportunity to correct it, to right it, and you don't, and at the end of the day, who's this? I think if Coach Belichick were to say, Tommy, this sounds like Mr. Kraft doing. Again, pulling another power play, which I believe Coach Belichick will not be too happy about. But I don't see it, Skip. I think the damage has been done, and I do believe Tom Brady is playing elsewhere next year.
So you and I believe what ESPN wrote 2 years ago, that Belichick was prepared to go forward with Jimmy Garoppolo as his starting quarterback.
Yes.
And that would have started in the 2018 season. So it would have been 2018 and 2019 with Jimmy G. If that is true, and we both believe it is, then it had to be Robert Kraft, if we believe this current report that he's been offered in excess of $30 million.
Right.
That had to come from the Krafts.
Right.
Correct.
Robert and his son Jonathan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could not have come from Bill Belichick.
Correct.
It could not have been blessed by Bill Belichick, because why would Bill suddenly flip and say, oh, yeah, I saw plenty from Tom last year that makes me want to go forward with him for 2 more years.
After the most you've ever paid him is $23 million.
Yeah.
Now you're willing to jump in his 21st season to 10 plus 13, 14 million, more than you ever paid him in year 21.
Okay, so we also concur that they both earned the right to go forward and show one or the other, I can do this by myself.
Correct.
And if that's true, then Tom's going to look at, I'm going to have to live with that man again if I go back for $30+ million.
Right.
And look at the football team. Help me out here. I'm looking at a below-average football team. It wasn't very good last year.
Especially offensively. And that's what Tom Brady needs. Tom Brady needs weapons now.
Okay.
At this juncture, Skip, he can no longer elevate the lesser tier talent to that upper echelon level.
I got it. Because rarely have we seen anybody who could do it. In fact, I don't think we've ever seen anybody who could do it the way he could do it.
Right.
I will give you that. He's not quite that guy anymore. But this was so below average that even he couldn't lift it much up from where it was, because Julian Edelman was on his last legs, and he got beat all to hell. Mm-hmm. He had 3 big things wrong with him. He did have off-season, which was shoulder surgery. And Julian Edelman led the National Football League in drop passes last year. That's your number 1 receiver. I raved about N'Keal Harry at Arizona State. He did not live up. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Belichick was really wrong, because we saw a bunch of receivers get drafted after, where we all said, going all the way down to Debo.
Yeah. Right.
Would they have been better with Debo last year? I'd say, right?
But Skip, maybe let's hold out on N'Keal Harry. Yeah. Let's see if he can come to OTA.
He only played the last 8 games.
Let's see if he can get to camp, get out of camp healthy, and start fresh.
The defense, everybody's saying it's on a historical pace. To your credit, you said, I don't know. They're not really playing anybody, so it was like the early Cowboy offense this year. Right. They haven't played anybody. As they began to play somebody, it started to go way south, because it looks to me like mostly a bunch of average cogs that he would unify into a collective whole. And he's obviously one of the great defensive minds in the history of the game.
Correct.
But other than Stephon Gilmore, who actually had a couple of bad games at the end of the year and still won Defensive Player of the Year.
Mainly in Miami.
Okay, he had a bad game against Miami because he got roasted all the way home in Miami. It was at Foxborough. But the point is that you look at this defense and you say, well, okay, Hightower and Dante.
There's not a whole lot of pieces that you're like, man, I got to have that guy other than Gilmore.
Okay. Pass rushers? No. Because Trey Flowers was the stud of a year ago, and he went to Detroit.
Right.
Well, show me one. Show me somebody where you trust that guy. So Brady's looking at the defense saying, can you really just snap your fingers and make it that much better than it was? And offensively, the weapons are Sony Michel, who sort of tailed off last year and was in the doghouse part of the year.
James White.
And James White, who's starting to get up there in years. And who? I don't know. Because Dante Scarnecchia is probably the greatest offensive line coach in the history of the game. And he retired once, and Tom took a beating in 2015. And then he came back and kind of saved the day. Right. And he is retired again. Right. And I'm going to guess this was for good, right? Yes. Okay, so Brady's got to know, where am I going with this offensive line?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he looks at the possibilities out there. I threw out the 49ers. I know they'd have to really close their eyes and plunge, but they could get out from under Garoppolo. Right. And you don't think he'd take the 49er roster over the New England roster? Now I'm shooting the moon on that one. Would he take the Chargers roster over the New England? You better believe he would. Wow. It's possible he would take the Raiders roster right now. It's possible. It's close because there are a lot of pieces there, a lot of young pieces.
Do you believe the Raiders are a quarterback away from a Super Bowl? Because Tom is looking at it like this.
I don't.
It's interesting.
I don't like it at all.
That's the only way he can look at it. He has to look at it and says, there are a quarterback away. I'm the missing piece for them getting to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't believe the Raiders are that close.
Okay, so you know, as we get closer to a decision on this, that he's going to sit down with Kraft, and I assume they're going to have to bring in Belichick.
Yeah.
And Tom, for the first time ever, is going to get to look across the table and say, convince me.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Tell me what you're going to do. Give me your grand plan.
I tried to replace you. What part did you get about that?
Right.
I wanted Jimmy G.
I wanted Jimmy G, but now Tom's going to say, well, who else do you want?
Yeah.
Right? Who are your free agent choices
That's
here?
the thing, Skip. When you have something and you mess around with it and you tinker around with it and you look up one morning and that other person says, I've had enough. You don't realize, Skip, sometimes you just close and you just think, yeah, we're winning. And you think it is kind of like I use relationships, Skip, we just going on vacations and we doing all this stuff. But there's some things that you should do that you know you should do. Mm-hmm. And you know you should say that you don't.
Okay.
Well, Coach Belichick knows. I'm not saying, Skip, he had to go to take the man to his house in Nantucket. I'm not saying they had to go on vacation together. But there are some things that he could have said that he still could have kept Tom at arm's distance and not make Tom feel like, well, you ain't no different than Matthew Slater. And you're no different than Sonny Michel. And you're no different than the 53rd guy. I get it. You can treat them all fair, but you ain't treating them all the same.
No.
And Coach Belichick has gotten away with it for so long of treating everybody the same. And for a certain large extent, I guess everybody's bought in, and it worked because he'll get on the guy, the offensive lineman or the D lineman that makes a mistake. Mm-hmm. He'll also get on Tom Brady if he makes a mistake.
That is correct.
But you just got to be you got to be careful, Skip. I mean, you can't treat it. You treat everybody fair. And my college coach used to say that. He said, I'm going to treat y'all all fair. I ain't treating y'all all the same.
Huh. Interesting.
So I'm going to give Belichick this. He did say, I'm going to go get Antonio Brown when it was clear he wanted out of Oakland.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you saw what Brady did just one day in Miami with Antonio. It would have changed the rest of the year because he is a transcendent, game-changing player. We know about all his off the field.
Right.
But Antonio continues to pledge allegiance via Twitter and Instagram to Tom Brady. He continues to say, wherever Brady goes, I'm going to go. So you have a chance wherever he chooses, other than New England, because that bridge got burned with that owner. But if Tom goes elsewhere and somehow Antonio gets cleared to play, which is probably a long shot, but you even have this in your back pocket of, you could add Antonio Brown.
I don't know if you heard the commissioner about when you speak about Antonio Brown. He says, we want Antonio Brown to get the help that he needs.
Yes.
He didn't say nothing about no football, Skip.
He did not. No, I hear you, but I'm just saying, here's a great receiver who says, he's not he played with the guy and caught balls in practice and one game, and he's saying he ain't done yet, right? He's saying, I want to go where he goes because he can still do it.
Yeah, you might be done. He might not be done, but you might be done.
You might be done. I agree. So I'm with you. It feels elsewhere to me, even though it is surprising that Robert Kraft is saying, no, we want you here.
Well, maybe if Tom goes back, maybe if New England take him back, maybe she'll take me back. What you think about that?
Yeah, it's just
Really?
a little too late.
Huh?
A little too late.
What's wrong with Jenny? You were supposed to be helping me out.
A little too late, Shannon. Sorry. I thought that was a joke. We're serious?
You did predict this was his last year in New England, and so Robert Kraft is saying, Shannon, you're wrong. I'm going to show you different.
Coach Belichick gonna say, nah. Mr. Kraft, you didn't have one of these. But as a matter of fact, the Blazers, that the 100 they had on was this color,
like
Skip.
that color, yeah.
And you see Coach Belichick flexing. Everybody else waved at the camera.
I saw him doing all this.
What was he doing?
Show them rings and things.
Confidence.
Yeah. He's like, oh, Tom, I get me one of these without you, and guess what? They're gonna have me a different colored blazer next for the 150th anniversary team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gonna.
Okay.
He'll be everywhere.
I'm gonna be the GOAT.
Coach forever. Okay, we will be on Tom Watch always. This is very interesting about his future. Well, guys, it has been over a week since Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others were lost in a tragic helicopter accident. The Lakers, as well as the entire NBA world, are still processing the loss, and LeBron told USA Today, quote, every game is going to be emotional. The Lakers lost to the Trailblazers on Friday, but they did beat the Kings on Saturday, and LeBron finished that game with a triple-double. We're joined now by Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Good to have you with us this morning, Chris.
Good to be here.
What do you make, Chris, of LeBron's last 2 performances?
Well, I think, look, his best performance, let's all face it, was Friday before the game. with his speech, which was from the heart.
So true.
Did a great job. And I think that as much as this is impacting everybody in the NBA world, it can't be impacting anybody in the NBA world more than Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka.
You're right.
And Pelinka was his agent. They were maybe best friends. I mean,
He was the goddaughter to the GG.
Yeah.
I mean, the godfather to the GG.
Yeah.
So those two, and then as far as organizations, obviously it's hitting the Lakers harder than anybody else. And now LeBron's the face of the organization. He just passed Kobe less than a day before it happened. And, he's kind of now has the burden of kind of carrying this legacy. So I think among players, he's among the handful who are most affected by this in the league. So I think that's the context we have to look at these last two games in. Now, he's been okay, he hasn't been LeBron James up to his standards, but he still got the triple-double, as you said, against Sacramento. Portland, he almost had a triple-double.
I think a Herculean effort by Dame Lillard.
Yeah. So, he's played fine. I think where you notice the most that he's not LeBron is in the shooting percentage. He's always generally around 50%.
Right.
He shot 40% in these two games, especially against subpar teams.
Right.
He usually shoots well over 50 against teams like that. So I think that shows you he's still kind of a little bit in a funk or a fog. And he may be that way for, I would say, maybe the night against the Spurs, maybe Thursday against Houston before he kind of gets out of it. Maybe, before he gets out of it and kind of is back to normal as far as basketball. So, but look, they need to win at least one of these next two games. The Spurs, they lost to the Clippers last night, but Houston, they need LeBron to be LeBron because they can't afford to give up games because that other team down the hall is chasing.
No, it's in the basement.
That other team.
Yeah.
They let it out every few nights.
They come out. They come out with a roar
Once in a
when
while.
they come
Yeah,
out.
but we ain't
Let
worried
him out
about it
of
too
the
much because, Kawhi about to start load managing again. Paul George with them old balky hamstrings. Then they don't tell it, they ain't going to be all together all the time. But we good. For me, and Skip and I talked about this earlier, Chris, he played like a guy that had a lot on his mind and a lot on his heart. And it affects, death affects people differently.
Right.
Some people can carry on with their normal life. Skip, you mentioned how when your mother passed and Skip didn't miss a day at work. He didn't talk about it. He was the same Skip. He was laughing and joking and he was serious, but I know he was grieving.
I don't know if I was laughing and joking.
No, but I'm saying we're here.
Yes.
We doing our thing. No one knew
Professional.
that you had something you were grieving on the inside because on the outwardly appearance you were Skip. We debating, we going back and forth. He even told me it's my turn.
Right.
Like, whoa.
But that's how I was raised.
Exactly.
Yep.
So people deal with death in different ways, and it's because moving forward, there's not going to be a night that they play in Staples that a Kobe chant's not going to break out. You see that black patch on the jersey.
Sure.
When you put it on every night, you run out on the court in Staples Center, you see that big old black circle with KB in it, and I don't think they're going to let anybody sit for the rest of the season in those chairs. They're probably going to have a 24 and a 2 draped over that, Skip. So that's going to be there. That memorial is going to be there. But for me, as Skip, he was saying he was expecting LeBron to go out there and drop 60 like Kobe did this last game. But I don't see LeBron putting up the number of shots that would get him 60. I don't see LeBron taking 35, 40 shots to get 60.
That's not his mentality.
Right. So now I think the thing is for them to refocus and says, you know what? The true way to honor Kobe is not by averaging 40 points for the rest of the season, is to win that title.
No doubt.
Because Kobe said we had enough. We have more than enough to win this title. So that's what I expect, Skip. I expect him to play better tonight than he did the previous two games. I expect him to shoot a higher percentage tonight than he did the previous two games. I got a strange feeling. I got a funny feeling. An old visitor, because she was down in Miami.
Oh, you did?
While she showed up in Sacramento. I got a feeling she's going to make that trip down here to L.A. Oh, Miss Trip Dub?
You do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the Miss Trip Dub who used to hang out with Jason Kidd, where he'd have 10, 10, and 10. Right?
No. We're going to get one of them old big old triple dubs.
The
One of them
Trip
old
Dub,
30 teams.
it isn't what it used to.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Like
Because it happens so
everybody,
often.
right? Everybody's doing it now. Luka,
I love
Westbrook.
ice cream a lot better when I can only get it a couple times a year. Not that I can have it when I want to, Skip. I don't really care
Not
for
as
it.
good?
Nope.
Right.
Makes sense.
So look, you can disqualify what I'm about to say as LeBron hate, but it's not. It's nothing but pure respect. And I argued with this man earlier in the show about whether LeBron is a scorer or a facilitator. Well, he's both.
Yeah.
And when he decides, he can score like nobody ever could score this side of Wilt Chamberlain, maybe. Mm-hmm. The point is that he's still the greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen. And on any given night, even in year 17 at age 35, he can say, watch this. After his IG post, which came probably a little too quickly, it was about 48 hours after we lost Kobe. And it was just gushing with emotion. And I believe it was over-emotional, and he plunged into a place that he didn't really need to plunge into. And he's basically saying, Kobe, I'm going to now be you, because his line was, it's my responsibility to put this, on my back and keep it going. I promise you I'll continue your legacy, man. And I believe many jumped to the conclusion that means I'm going to be Kobe Bryant from here on. And I truly expected from my heart on that Friday night against a Portland team that came in 21-27, and they had beaten that same team at Portland twice already by 23-8. I thought LeBron would say, watch this. And I'm saying it out of pure respect because I thought it was just that kind of historical, momentous kind of a night. And as he said, it's a celebration of Kobe. And I thought he would be Kobe for that night. And I thought we would sort of end the game with Mamba out, drop the mic from LeBron. He ended his speech that he gave, and it was great from the heart. And I was just shocked to the point of being dumbfounded. He didn't look right the whole night. He didn't look as engaged. He didn't look driven. He didn't look possessed.
He looked drained.
He looked drained. He looked drained. We'd seen these flashes of Kobe's spirit just electrify. Buddy Hield had scored 42 out of nowhere, and Eric Gordon scored 50, just electrified by the spirit of Kobe Bryant.
Bradley Beal had been going bonkers.
And then Chris Middleton scored 51. And I thought that lightning from above would strike LeBron in ways we'd never seen before. And hey, if it took, as Kobe's last game at Staples, it took 50 shots to get 60 points. And if it took LeBron 50, I was going to say, God bless you, man.
Because
they
would have loved that.
Yeah, they just would have loved it. And he scored 22, and it was okay. It was 3 below his average, like you said. It was fine.
I think the biggest thing, Skip, is that they lost the game.
Okay, they lost the game, and Dame has already been struck by lightning weeks back. He's just on such a roll where he's on an all-time torrid streak.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do anything. The dude stepping across half court letting it go. I mean, what you going to do with that?
Okay, so at the end of the game, they're down 3 against Portland, and LeBron sort of breaks.
They're down 5, right?
No, I'm sorry, down 6. They could cut it to 3. They could cut it 3. And LeBron got, if we could see it, a wide open 3 because Trevor sort of fell down. You could say he broke his ankles. And LeBron just wasn't up to this task because I thought, this is done. This is money. And he kind of fell away from it a little bit, like he wasn't sure of that shot. Usually LeBron would shoot this with conviction, and I didn't think he really shot it with conviction, and it missed badly. And that was it, because that would have been the moment where you could just bring the house down. And here you come, and if you pull it out, then everybody's saying, look, he went Kobe on Portland.
Right.
Okay? So then they go back-to-back to Sacramento, and he scores 15 points. He had a triple-double. But the point was, he looked drained. Yeah. It looked like he had, I told you earlier, I fear he bit off a little more than he needed to chew that quickly with his first IG post. Because as a team, they can say, let's do this for Kobe.
Right.
But it's really not fair. LeBron is I wouldn't wish this on anybody. You can't say, I'm going to be you. I'm going to do what you used to do.
Especially when you're a totally different type of player.
Yes.
Okay?
And I think there's 2 things. You said it right. Different people respond differently.
To grief.
LeBron is a thinker. He's a guy, I think he says he doesn't care what people think, but I think he does. He sees what people are saying, and I think he wants to be liked and all that stuff. And I just think maybe he has the type of personality where he's really impacted by this more than other people.
Right.
And secondly, he's a superstar. Like Kobe, you heard so many people say on that level, Kobe's on the level where you just thought he's going to always be there. He can't. That's all you saying it. Like, there's no way Kobe Bryant just died. There's no way he didn't get out from that helicopter.
Right.
LeBron's on that level too.
Right.
Yep.
And so maybe when you're a superstar on that level, you think more
start
about
dealing
your
with your
mortality than even the rest of us are. You know, so I think, as you said, you can see even that shot, he just doesn't look like he almost didn't care if it goes in or not. And I think I'm just speculating, but I think those are two things that may have him. And you can respond by charging out and we're going to win it all, or it can really impact you and take you down.
When you see someone that you know or someone's on your level and something negative happened to them, then it puts it right in crystal clear in front of you. I never wore a seatbelt until 1999, and Derek Thomas got into that car wreck.
Wow.
And I'm like, hold on. Because, you heard people getting ejected from cars, but I didn't know them. People died, if they were in the seatbelt, but I didn't know them. Now it happened to somebody close. LeBron is like, hold on, Kobe? Death is funny. Like when someone has a heart attack or they have cancer, it's tragic. You're like, okay, but like this, abruptly. Because normally, illnesses build up over time. Someone has cancer, they've been dealing with cancer, they've been dealing with, diabetes or something like that. But this was so sudden, this was so tragic, it's like, it shocked everybody's conscience. You're like, Kobe? How can Kobe, the guy that shot a free throw on a torn Achilles, the guy that said, tore a labrum and still tried to play because he said, I got two shoulders. I don't need the other half of the shoulder. As long as I got this good one, I'm straight. And clearly, it's affected Bron.
Right.
So, the man across the table from me that first day, Monday in Miami, plunged and said, this will inspire the Lakers to win the championship. And I did not challenge you on that because it just well might. It also dramatically increases the pressure on LeBron because he's the one out front. He's the one who posted this. He's the one who made it clear we need to carry on your legacy. So the pressure is mounting. It could inspire, but it could also be a detriment at some point because it's just too much to carry.
I think he would be like Kobe's legacy. Kobe is a great scorer and all these great, but Kobe's a champion. Kobe's legacy is about 5 titles with the Lakers. He knows to honor that legacy, you got to bring titles.
It's just interesting, the stages of grief. And you're affected differently daily, and now we're going to watch LeBron, we're going to watch the Lakers on the daily deal with this. And you're not normally in a spot like that when you're dealing with something, and that is a lot of pressure. With the ending of one Super Bowl, it comes some way too early predictions of the next. Former NFL safety and current analyst Matt Bowen picked the Chiefs and Cowboys to be the last two standing for Super Bowl 55. He says the talent is there for Dallas to make a run in Mike McCarthy's first season, but Kansas City will win the title. So, Shannon, can you see this matchup happening?
Yeah, Shannon, tell us.
Yeah, please. I can see it if I get some new glasses. Because right now, the way he's looking, I can't
really?
No, I can't see that.
You can't see it.
No, I cannot see it. I can't see it. Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out. When have the Cowboys not had talent? I mean, you remember when they had Tony Romo, T.O., Jason Witten as Apex? They had Marion the Barbarian. They've always had talent. When are they going to meet their expectations? Because I remember, Skip, the number one killer is not injury, it's expectations.
What you said.
Yeah. And the Cowboys hadn't met it in a quarter century.
Well, does that mean the Chiefs are doomed next year?
Oh, no. Now when you got that guy, 0-1-5.
Oh, now he's on it.
0-1-5.
Back on the Mahomes
That's what they call it,
train.
Skip. When you that good, you just go by a number 1-5.
1-5?
1-5
No
is for
name
real.
needed?
Wait a second. 5 minus 1 is 4. How about that guy? Right?
You got to subtract just to get to that. You see what he did, that Jenny? Now, I'm looking at y'all's schedule. Skip, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
You know y'all got the AFC North. You know who in that division, right? Y'all got them. Guess where y'all go play old Lamar Jackson?
Well, at least we're not playing the first place schedule.
Y'all still got Minnesota. In Minnesota. Old Fur Cousins.
That's a hard place to play.
And y'all got Seattle. Ooh, y'all got the AFC. Y'all got the AFC North, and it looks like y'all got the 49ers. Y'all got the 49ers.
Tom Brady's 49ers?
It'd be interesting.
Uh-oh.
Skip, why do you do this to yourself every year? I mean, you starting the Super Bowl just ended, and you already building your hopes up.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't say a word yet.
You didn't, but you buy into it, and then you gonna run home and tell Ernestine that, guess what? we going to the Super Bowl.
I would never say that in my house because she knows the jinx rule.
What about what you said last week in Miami to all the fans who were wearing the Dak jerseys?
Yeah.
You're going to be there next year?
You were optimistic.
I was just trying to give them a good time.
Give them a good time.
That's exactly right. Skip, the Cowboys will be at the Super Bowl in Tampa with tickets. They're not going. The NFL is not playing for
They'll
them.
be hawking products.
They can be hawking. Cowboys are always hawking products, but they're not going, Skip. So I hate to tell you, you're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not going to the Super Bowl. You might even have a little better record. You know, right now I'm feeling 10-6. That's what I got.
10-6?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty great.
You're not going to the Super Bowl.
I would take that now.
I'm saying that's what I'm feeling on February the 4th.
Okay.
Check back with me in August.
Okay.
But
Will do.
10-6, just get me in the tournament.
Oh, hold on. I'll tell you what. Check with me on when you said that date is?
March 10th. Oh, that's
Check
smart.
with me on March
Let's do
10th when you put that tag on Dak, and I'll let you know what your real record goes.
I'm going to remember to ask.
By the way, speaking of Ernestine, I got to get this off my chest because I did tell you yesterday, for the first time ever, I let her watch a game with me. We watched the whole Super Bowl together, and she hung right in there. She's pretty good. She's pretty
jinxed
smart,
your pick, though.
But she jinxed my pick because she inadvertently, at one point when it was 20-10 after Mahomes threw his second ugly interception, she said, "He's having a terrible night. There's no way they're going to..."
That wasn't Ernestine.
Don't say it.
That was not Ernestine.
As soon as
Do
she
not
said that, I
blame
tried
her.
to undo it. I tried to say, no. He's a comeback kid. You know, he's a don't. And that was right when Kyle Shannon said, "I think I'll put the game in Jimmy G's hands." And from that moment forward, you know what happened.
Yep.
Our roof fell in on me, right?
21 straight.
It was 21. So it was
Come on,
20-10,
it
and the
wasn't
final score was
Ernestine.
31-20. And she didn't mean to. She just sort of got caught up in the emotion of the moment. Ball game. Way to go. Thank you. So
Let
here
her
we
watch
go.
a few more games.
I will.
Should be fun for you guys.
So the point is that I must admit to you, I am still baffled to the point of being broken by what happened to my Cowboys last year because I picked them to win to at least get to the Super Bowl to play the Patriots. And I loved the pick a year ago. And you kept questioning me through the offseason. Are you sure about this? You really plunging? Yep, I feel 1,000% confident in this pick.
Yeah.
Except for the head coach. And I kept telling you, he's going to go along for a great ride. They will win in spite of him because they had done it before. And it was time to do it one last time. And you know the rest of the story. Okay, so what do I see? I see all kinds of off-season issues to be navigated, and I don't have any idea how or if they will be. But you have to sign Dak, and now I don't know what's going to happen exactly there, and you have to figure out, do you want to pay top dollar to Amari Cooper, who had a very disappointing season last year? And what about Byron Jones? He's one of the top corners in the league. He just doesn't intercept the ball.
No.
He doesn't get his hands on footballs. He's the opposite of Honey Badger. He's the flip side. But he's a talent, and he can really cover. And Robert Quinn had a pretty good year as sort of the bookend defensive end, and DeMarcus Lawrence had no year to me. So where is all that headed? I don't know. Are they going to add a free agent piece? Todd McShay, ESPN, has them drafting Xavier McKinney out of Alabama, the safety. At 17. So could he change life in the secondary? I don't know, maybe. Okay, so I don't know any of that. But I do know this. I told you going in, Jason Garrett was the problem. I told you coming out, Jason Garrett was the problem. Jerry Jones eliminated our problem, but did he fix it with Mike McCarthy? I don't know that. So that's the biggest X factor is, will Mike McCarthy bounce back from a pretty ugly last couple of years?
Yeah.
It was pretty ugly.
Did that coincide with Aaron Rodgers? So maybe it wasn't Aaron Rodgers. Maybe it was Mike McCarthy.
Or did Mike McCarthy get taken down by the slow erosion of Aaron Rodgers?
Did you see Aaron Rodgers this year?
Did I see him?
Yeah.
Yeah, did I see him, 18th in QBR this year? I saw it.
Higher than somebody
else
else we
get
know.
destroyed by San Francisco.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, if Aaron Rodgers is 18th, how's the guy that finished lower QBR and him asking for 30-plus million?
Interesting. So, the bottom line at this moment, I'm not going to pick the Dallas Cowboys to win next year's Super Bowl because I'm not going to jinx them at this point. I need to see a whole lot more. I'm not ready to do that. Similarly, I do not believe the Chiefs will get back to the Super Bowl.
Who's gonna stop them?
I think they got every break known to man to win this year.
You do know my homeboy gonna get better. Can you imagine that? We've never seen anybody with this kind of toolbox.
You know what I know? Lamar Jackson's going to get better.
I believe he will.
Yes, he will. And I think that team is really good, and I think it's better than Kansas
be
City
driven.
as we speak.
We've never seen a quarterback with this kind of toolbox. We've never seen it, Skip Bayless. We've never seen it.
Boy, he pulled some ugly throws out of that toolbox.
Oh, man. He got a pipe wrench. He got a 3/16,
Yep.
3 1/4.
Huh.
Yeah, monkey wrench.
Really?
Socket. Yeah, screwdriver, flathead Phillips. Got all that up in there.
Down 20-10 early in the fourth quarter.
Hey, and guess what he did, Skip? We hadn't seen anybody get 21 straight in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Go third biggest comeback in NFL history in a playoff game. In your third year, your second full year of starting, we've never seen a toolbox this full before, Skip.
Is he going to get to play Kyle Shanahan every game next year so that Kyle will just, like, choke in the
How
fourth
is
quarter?
Kyle doing?
I can't wait for the day that my homeboy and the Cowboys go head to head.
Okay.
Woo, I want all of it. I want all the dew you got.
Okay.
I don't even know who makes Mountain Dew. Who makes it?
It's
Is it
Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Yeah.
Okay, Pepsi.
Yeah.
I want 100 cases.
Really?
Brought up in here. We're going to do it like the World Series of Poker. You know, at the final table, when it's go head to head,
Yep. Yeah.
bring the money, sit it right there. Well, we're going to have 100 cases of Dew sitting back there.
100?
100 cases.
Okay, I'm going to this is a realistic early bet.
Okay.
If the Cowboys and Chiefs make it to next year's Super Bowl, we have 10 cases right now on it. I got Dallas.
Okay.
If Dallas makes it, I got Dallas.
Okay.
If they get there,
Yep.
you're going all in.
It ain't going to even get there.
Because I'll take Dak over Mahomes under pressure
You want-
any day.
You want 5
Here we
cases?
go.
Skip, y'all couldn't even win the division when the Eagles were battered. Imagine when they get healthy. You know they're going to take a receiver.
My
They
quarterback
might
had
get
him-
Jerry Jeudy.
They might. That's who he's projected to go to in Todd McShay's draft. Okay, fine. You can have him. I'll take C.D. Lamb over Jerry Jeudy any day.
Oh, I
Yep.
love C.D.
Yeah.
Lamb. He's going to be
Yeah.
a
Can
factor.
you imagine D-Jack, Judy, Ertz?
Yeah.
You're in a huge trouble.
Okay.
We're going to have a fun one to
We
talk
beat
about.
them 37-10.
And they beat y'all 17-9, and Dak couldn't even get a
17-9,
touch.
Let's
and
get
my
Dak
quarterback-
figured out
Yeah.
Dak
before we
couldn't
go
even-
anywhere.
My quarterback had a broken wing that day.
Oh, he was on was he out there? Was he out there?
So the Lakers are reportedly weighing some options ahead of Thursday's NBA trade deadline, including gauging the market for Kyle Kuzma. According to Zach Lowe, the Lakers have looked into what they could land in exchange for Kuzma with a focus on ball handlers. Kuzma is having his least productive season statistically, but is still their biggest trade asset. Chris Broussard back with us. Chris, do you think they'll trade Kyle Kuzma?
Well, like you said, obviously they're out there looking and they're talking to teams. I'm going to say they don't because I don't think they'll get the deal that they're looking for. Let's look at a few of them. Bogdanovich. We talked about him, Sacramento. I would do that.
Sure.
I'll do it.
I mean, he's a better shooter. He averages a few more points. Better shooter by far. Three-pointer.
Really?
I think he plays better with veterans, like he plays more winning basketball. He can accept his role off the bench. And he actually can make some plays, too, for other guys. He's a little bit of a playmaker. So I think that would be great. I would do it, but the reports are that the Kings won't do that. So I don't know they'll be able to get that done. Derrick Rose, I wouldn't do it. I mean, he's looking great with Detroit, but they're not winning. And I don't think he does that with the Lakers. With LeBron, we saw him with LeBron in Cleveland, and it just didn't work. And you can argue Rose is better now, but Rose put up numbers in New York. Like, his numbers have been this good for the last few years. So I wouldn't go there. And the one I like, and I don't think they can get this done, their name hasn't been associated with Minnesota. But Robert Covington is a guy that a lot of teams, contenders, the Clippers, are going after. If I could get, now maybe this is just wishful thinking, if I could get Covington and Jeff Teague for Kuzma, you have to throw in something else.
Teague's in Atlanta now, isn't it? Oh, he's
No,
that's his brother.
Yeah. If I could get those guys, because you got your playmaker and you got Teague used to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
But didn't they trade him back? I think they traded him back.
Did they send him back?
I think he did. I think he went back.
He is back.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, then that throws that out. Covington. I don't know if I do Covington straight up.
No.
Because he, as much as he is, he's a better defender, which they need, but they also need a third scorer.
Yes.
They need a bona fide third scorer. And that's why maybe I would keep Kuz. And so I think at the end of the day, if they don't get these deals, the best thing for them to do is to keep Kuzma and over the next several weeks, work on him being like, teaching him how to play winning basketball, getting him acclimated to coming off the bench. He's averaged like 15 points over the last month, so he's playing okay. So I think
he plays better when he starts and AD's not there.
No, he does, but
that's not happening.
They're gonna have to try to get him to adjust and play winning basketball. Because one thing he does is he's got a closer's mentality. And as well, look, we've seen LeBron close games, right? He could close games, but he don't really have a closer's mentality like a Kobe had or MJ. So they need somebody with that mentality. So I think you got to work out Kuzma.
I think he will get traded, Skip, because he's been inconsistent. He'll give you 25 one night, he'll give you 5 the next. But the biggest reason I think he'll get traded because he brings nothing else to the table when he can't score. He doesn't D up.
You think he will?
Yeah, he doesn't D up. He doesn't facilitate. So his only asset, his only benefit to this team is to score. Okay, when he's not scoring, what good is he? He ain't locking anybody down, Skip. He's not getting anybody else involved. He's not rebounding the basketball. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
But who you getting?
Well, I'm trying. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get Bogdanovich. Because here's the thing, we trying to build. At this point now, you're coming off the bench, Kuzma. That is going to be your role. You're going to be Lou. I'm not saying you're going to have to accept the role of Lou Williams. Lou Williams has accepted his role like I'm cool with it. Montrez, he's cool with it. These guys can start on almost every other team, but they're cool because they play starters minutes even though they come off the bench. Kuz, bro, you coming off the bench. Ain't nobody coming up out the lineup. So I would do it because he's just been entirely too inconsistent, Skip. We keep saying we need a third scoring option. He doesn't give you that. He'll give you one good night game out of 4, and that's not good enough.
I love it that you are done with Kuzma because, to me, Kyle Kuzma is the closer for this team, and I've said it from day one, but they won't allow him to be. He does not
even
fit.
Finish a lot of games.
He doesn't finish a lot of games.
Yeah.
Vogel doesn't love him because LeBron really doesn't love him. And that's just my take from a distance. I'm watching body language. But LeBron and AD do not click with Kyle Kuzma because for one reason, he's not in their clique, as in CLIQUE. He's not part of that group.
KLUTHC.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was spelling out in my head. Oh, got it.
I'll tell you what we'll do to Clippers. We'll trade you Kuzma for Lou Williams.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That way we do
that.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But I love it that he doesn't click, however you want to spell it, because I still don't think they have a closer. I don't think it's LeBron, and I don't think it's Anthony. As great as they are, it's not in their genetics to close games. I've not seen either one of them just take games over down the stretch where I say, that's unstoppable. I have seen this guy do it before. He is cold-blooded. You can say he's kind of naive to a fault, but in the end, he just shoots it. If it touches his fingertips, it's going up.
Exactly.
And when he gets going, he can get going like nobody else on this roster can get going. And it's not LeBron's flavor. It's not his style. It's not team basketball.
But yeah, exactly, because he'll get the ball and he'll go 1-on-4. Everybody else is back and he's going 1-on-4, bro.
I've seen too many games where he just went over the rainbow. He went somewhere else, like just making shots where I say, that's unstoppable.
Yeah.
And on any given night, you need that guy to do that thing. And all of a sudden, he's not starting. He's losing minutes. His points have fallen. He was averaging 19 last year. He's 13 this year. I don't even know how he's averaging 13 this year.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's probably down 10, 11 minutes in playing time.
Right.
It's 33 to 25, so it's 8.
But Skip, if you look at it, I've always felt that Brandon Ingram was a better player than Kyle Kuzma.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But B.I. needed the ball. He got the ball and became an all-star. Well, Kuzma looking at him, Kuzma like, well, I played better than you last year. So if I can get me a team and get the ball, I can be an all-star.
But B.I. needs to dribble the ball.
Yes.
And Kyle just needs to touch the ball. He's just barely touching it. It's gone.
They're totally different type players.
Kuzma needs to understand if I help this team win a championship, even if I'm only averaging 13, 14 points a game, that raises my stock. Totally. And it's like, remember Glenn Rice with Shaq and Kobe?
Yeah.
They won the championship, but Glenn wasn't happy averaging 15 points a game. And he demanded out after winning the championship.
Because he used to being the guy.
Right. So Kuzma, obviously not Glenn Rice, but he's got to accept, just for now, if I help them win a title, that'll help me get paid, and then maybe I go elsewhere and become a big scorer.
Kawhi's first year in 2014,
Right.
what did he average?
12.
Kawhi wasn't averaging no 20 points a
12
night,
points a
Skip.
game.
So,
But the thing was, Kawhi didn't have to score. Kawhi could do other things. Kawhi could shut it down on the wing, though.
Okay.
He might not give you 20 a night, but the other guy wasn't going to get 20 unless it was GOAT James.
I just don't see who you're getting for him.
okay,
That's my
I
thing.
believe they will have to almost give him away, and I think they will. I think they don't want him in
But
the
for
mix.
what? Just to get rid of him?
Like Robert Covington, I know he's a big piece, but I would do that deal.
Straight up?
Yes, I would do it.
He's a defender, and they need perimeter
He
defense.
is
And he
only
shoots the
a
three
defender.
better.
It's
He can shoot the
okay.
three
It's-
okay.
It's okay.
Right,
But
35%.
I don't love him as an offensive player, but he can really defend.
Yeah. We need that. We
Okay.
need that. Because we put him on Kawhi.
Okay?
No, that would
We
be
put him on
Is that what
Kawhi.
it is? Is that what it is?
Put him
Okay.
on Kawhi.
All right.
And then we'll let Paul George and Avery Bradley.
Why didn't LeBron take why? Huh? Why doesn't he
The
take
same
why?
reason Kawhi don't be dealing with us. Paul George, Pat Bev,
Why
Arliss, Scooter Magruder.
Why says, give me that guy?
No, Kawhi don't say that. Kawhi don't say that.
We're gonna have Chris stick
Wait a minute,
around for
speaking
this
of
next one.
Trainers,
Speaking.
didn't Kuzma's trainer
Oh, you're
say?
right. Kuzma's
Remember,
trainer.
Thank you for
Little
bringing
drama.
that up. Remember what he said? LeBron
Social
wants
media.
no
You
part of
Still think
Kawhi.
that's why he wants him
Right?
out of there.
I mean,
yeah,
you
you
don't
gotta-
forget those things. Once it's out there on social
You can't,
media,
you
you're
can't
done.
come out and call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
If you say something,
Yeah.
and you can't say, well, hey, I work with Chris. I can't tell Chris what to say, but you said, I like, call a spade, Chris.
That's a little
He
questionable.
wasn't referring to that. He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
say that. He didn't
Totally
tell us
different
what it was.
But you commented on that.
Totally different. After beating the Spurs last night, the Clippers are now 16-4 when Kawhi Leonard and Paul George both play. Despite having the number 2 seed and being 3 games behind the top-seeded Lakers, the Clippers are 2-0 against their in-building rivals this season. So, Chris, which team is better at this point? Are you going with the Clippers or Lakers?
I'm about to shock everybody on this desk. Shannon, I'm sorry.
Up. Here we
The
go.
Clippers right now are the better team. Now, I want to monitor it. Let's see if the
Okay.
Lakers are motivated by, Kobe's passing. But right now, I got to go with the Clippers. You mentioned it. First of all, they're only 3 games behind the Lakers.
True.
And
Say
as
that
you
again,
said,
what you just said.
Well, but hold on, they haven't been whole.
What
They
makes you
played
think they will
20
be?
games.
16-4
Okay,
both.
look, if injuries come into play, then so be it. But both teams whole, they're 16-4 with Paul George and
Think
Kawhi.
about that. That's only 20 of 50 games
Right.
they played.
And so that's the number one reason. And the Clippers are playing better of late. They've won 10 of their last 13. The Lakers 4-4. Now, we got some, maybe they're in a funk because of Kobe's situation, but they're 4-4 in their last 8. Secondly, the Clippers have been better against the top teams. They're 7-5 against the top 4 from each conference. The Lakers only 5-6. They've been beating up on
Great
the bad
point.
teams.
Love it.
Only 5
Way to
and 6
go.
against the top clubs. Thirdly, head-to-head, we know the Clippers have won the last 2. I'm glad they postponed the game Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would have been an accurate barometer of where, either team is. I want to see the Lakers against the Clippers. I want to see them beat them, and I want to see that swag. When the Lakers are playing Memphis, Sacramento, Brooklyn, they got swag for days. You know what I mean? I don't see that against the Clippers.
That's interesting.
And I've said that I need to see LeBron be more aggressive against the Clippers. Maybe it's not that as much as it might be that perimeter defense makes it tough for him to get to the rim. Because if you watch them when teams have athletic defenders on the perimeter, look, LeBron's 35. It's a little harder to get to that rim. And I went with Kawhi, Paul George. Now, Beverly, he needs to just post up when Beverly's on him. But I think they make it tough on LeBron to get to the rim. So here's what I'm looking at right now. I think there's two things that need to happen for the Lakers to beat the Clippers in the playoffs. One, LeBron is going to have to just have a heroic performance and maybe lift you over a team that you shouldn't beat, like he did with Golden State in 2016. And two, Anthony Davis has got to dominate. Dominate. So if I'm the Lakers, I spend the rest of the season making him the fourth quarterback. You've brought up the stats, how LeBron is shooting a lot more than him in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, he's only got 4 points in the 2 games against the Clippers. I would, every game, I'm feeding AD, getting him in the mentality of I'm the fourth quarter guy. I'm at my best in the fourth quarter, because that's what they're going to need. Nobody should stop him for the Clippers in the fourth quarter. But does he have the mentality?
Agreed. I think the thing is, because what they do, Chris, the reason why he doesn't take over the fourth quarter, if you notice, he plays all the first, starts the second on the bench. The first 45 minutes, he's on the bench. Plays all the third, starts the fourth quarter. LeBron always goes out with about 8.5 to 9 minutes in the first, starts the second. So they kind of stagger him like that. So it's kind of hard. LeBron is already playing, got a lather going. He's normally already in the rhythm. For me, still the Lakers, because I still, at the end of the day, I'm taking GOAT James and the Brow over PG and the Klo. Now, you said something very early. You said the Lakers are 3 up. Say that again. The Lakers are 3 games up. We played the same amount of games.
I didn't say that, but I'll say it.
I
The Lakers are 3 up.
And you are.
And that means what?
Hold on. Because this, you know what, Skip, I love how you do this. Now, I remember, just like yesterday, Chris, Kansas City went to New England, beat them.
Yeah.
And in Skip's power rankings, he had the Patriots in front. I like with Skip. They're not better.
Oh.
The referees beat me. Well, they did. Do you remember the N'Keal Harry play? And the Stephon Gilmore play and the Philip Dorsett play? Boom, 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 3.
But this is what I love about everybody. Everybody think they're just going to snap their fingers or we're going to have a healthy playoff run. You see that? Paul George, he's missed the season, started the season. He missed the last 5 to 6 games.
He did.
So, I mean, So
are you banking on them not being healthy? What if they are healthy?
So what? It won't change nothing. Just like everybody else was banking on us being unhealthy. If LeBron stays healthy, if that groin holds up, he is in year 17. All I'm doing is just doing the hypotheticals like y'all were doing, Chris.
He's playing high minutes.
There you go, play high minutes. Even though he's played the fewest minutes he's played in his career, he's playing high minutes.
High minutes for year 17.
Ain't no such thing. The only difference between LeBron James now and LeBron James in, say, 5-6 years ago is that he can't consistently go to the bucket. It takes too much out.
Defense.
Right. Oh, obviously he can't sit in the chair anymore.
Because if he could sit there and guard Kawhi,
no,
it'd be a different story.
But, Skip, it takes a lot out of you. I mean, that's why you got to chalk it up. Give Russ and give guys that drive continuously. I want to see James Harden still get to the bucket like he's getting to the bucket now in year 17. Let's see Russ get to the bucket like he's getting does. Exactly. Even Michael. Michael developed that fadeaway for a reason. Remember, he was soaring over everybody in a single bound. All of a sudden, he started shooting that fadeaway.
I want to thank my friend Chris Broussard for being objective today and bringing some real wisdom to this table.
Thank you, Chris.
And for once, it's 2-on-1 the reverse direction, because usually it's 2 on this one. But right now, you are in trouble. Because right here, right now, the Clippers are clearly a little better than the Lakers. And I'm not going to go stats. I'm going to go eye test. I watch a lot of Clippers. They are playing what the Spurs used to refer to as beautiful basketball. This team is starting to move the basketball like the Duncan Ginobili Parker Spurs used to move it. And down the stretch against what's left of my Spurs right now. And my Spurs have been a little better lately, and they've had some big road wins at Toronto and Boston where you say, okay, that's not bad. And last night, it looked like they were going to have a big road win at the Clippers. They let them up out of the basement last night to play the Spurs, to soften up the Spurs so that you guys can take care of them tonight. So the basement team tenderized my Spurs last night, but guess what? My Spurs, with 3 minutes left in this game, Patty Mills just ripped a 3, and they're up 5 with 3 minutes to go. And all of a sudden, Kawhi said, bang, watch what I'm going to do to my ex-team. I still haven't forgiven him for that,
Yeah,
but
you have.
watch what he's about to do. And so here we go. If we could watch these highlights, because this is beautiful Spurs basketball and the Spurs. First, Kawhi feeds into the corner to Patrick Beverley, and he's becoming a deadly corner three shooter. And then right out of that, we got a beautiful feed down the lane. Watch this to Kawhi for a dunk. That's Spurs basketball right there. And then we got an incredible block tie up here by Kawhi on DeMar DeRozan. He just took the ball away from him. That was key. They're down 2 right there. And then here we go with this is the dagger. Paul George. He can do this now. He can do this. That's game over right there. Ball game. And it was just, I'm like, wow, that happened. In 3 minutes, it just went boom, boom, boom. That's what you guys are up against. And Kawhi and PG, they just vibe off each other. They are a great fit. There's nothing selfish about it. They will share or they will take over. What is necessary?
Oh, so they said for something about Bron and Brow?
Well, guess what? And when Paul George was out with his hamstring, Kawhi went 9 straight games from January 10th to February 1st. He averaged 35 a game. He was on an MVP caliber tear. He was starting to make a statement.
All I know is every other week is another injury. Pat Bev missed 3 games here. Paul George missed 6 games there. Then you got the
better hope.
load management
You
over.
better hope.
I don't hope it. I'm just going by what I've seen the first 60 games. Haven't you seen that?
I don't think and I think it stems from Kawhi. I really don't think they care that much about the regular season.
They don't.
Yeah, I think they're looking, and I don't like that necessarily, but I don't think they're concerned.
They have load managed to within 3 games of the Lakers. So the Lakers are just going full bore.
No, we're not.
Let's gut it out.
No, we're not. No, we're not. That's why LeBron playing 35 minutes a night. If we going full board, we bump that up to 38.
Yeah,
but that ain't what we're going to do.
Yeah,
we saving 3 minutes for the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you this. If both teams are full-on healthy going into the playoffs, I still like the Clippers. They're just a little better. And we didn't even talk about Lou and Montrezl coming off the bench.
And Lou wasn't even closing last night.
No,
I mean, he wasn't on the floor.
You know what? He's not been quite himself lately.
Yeah.
But watch what
That's
happens.
what we trade. He ain't himself. So we're going to go and get y'all cool. Y'all give us.
Oh, really?
Now, that would be a game changer.
Totally equal.
The sad thing is they had Lou.
I know. I'll never forget your reaction to those
Yep.
guys. You were devastated.
Yeah.
That was hard for
We
you.
give up Lou.
But come on. Can Big Zoo guard AD?
No.
No, that's where
I know.
AD, look, they
All
need
right.
to start getting
we need-
him used to being
We
that
need
close.
AD to have the mentality against the Clippers that he have against the Pelicans.
Yes.
We get that right there.
True.
We got something.
Chris, thank you. Good to have you today. So the Rockets are reportedly shopping their starting big man, Clint Capella, and are looking to add a wing player in return. Capella is currently the only Rockets starter over 6'5", and they recently beat the Mavs and the Pelicans with Capella out and a starting lineup of guys 6'6" or smaller. So Houston sits just a game behind Utah for the 4 spot in the West. Shannon, what are the Rockets doing?
I don't know. Tell me so we'll both know. It seems like a desperate move to me, Skip, because he's their only big. Now, they make the playoffs. You're going to probably have to see the Lakers, who has bigs. Utah has bigs. Denver has Jokic. Portland has Whiteside. Skip, who you going to guard? So you going to say, we're going to just get into a shooting match. You're going to try to make it 150 to 145. He's 14 and 14. He's your only defender.
14 rebounds he's averaging.
14.
Wow.
He's really your only inside defender. I mean, obviously P.J. Tucker on the perimeter. But Skip, I just don't know how they're going to guard Jokic, Gobert, and AD. I just don't. Even Whiteside has been playing unbelievable the last couple of games. Harden and Westbrook combined to average 46 shots a game. So there's not a whole lot. I mean, look, I know you're happy to be in the NBA, Skip, but you just don't want to stand around and just take the ball out and pass it to those 2 guys and have them do what they do. It makes no sense to say, well, we want another. Might trade him for a wing or possible another center.
Yeah.
Who do you expect to get that's better than Capella that someone is going to trade you for, Skip?
I don't know. First of all, I've always liked Clint Capella.
Okay.
I like how hard he plays.
He does.
He sweats hard. You know, like it looks like he's giving you an honest night's work,
yep.
right? So I've been around Daryl Morey. He's fun to be around. At times, I think he's a mad genius, but now I'm going to cancel the genius out. He's just mad, right? He's just like out of his mind.
Right.
And it feels like he's about to go down swinging.
Well, he's going down.
Because remember, his Hong Kong tweet caused basically an international incident.
Yeah.
Just talking to Chris Broussard off camera, he said he'd heard that it cost the league about $200 million. So, he's on some hot seat already.
Yeah.
Not to mention that now he's saying, watch this, NBA. I'm going to go win a championship with 6'6" guys or under. Yeah. And yet I'm pretty sure, this is from a distance, it looks like Russell Westbrook said, I can't play with him. Because remember, now you have two guys, you have a left-hander and a right-hander who do like to attack the basket on opposite sides of the lane.
And Capella
likes to stay in the middle.
Right.
Okay? So I'm assuming Russell finally said, we can't do this with him.
Right.
He's getting in my way. He's bringing a big defender into my path every time. What are we doing? Let's unclog the lane.
Who do they think get all those rebounds or those misses?
Okay.
They be chunking up.
Well, Russ probably says, I'll get you 15 a game, right?
Well, he's going to have to
dive on the floor.
But he ain't going to guard Jokic. He's not going to guard those bigs.
No, so I've never seen anything like this. And I must tell you, I have enjoyed watching Russ and James play together.
Yes.
I like them. They do, maybe it's not quite Kawhi and PG, but they do vibe off each other. Can they win a championship that way? They cannot, but it's fun to watch. But now they're saying, watch this, because we'll get the big guy out of there. And again, they'd like to add another wing, defender, 3-and-D kind of guy. And then, I don't know, maybe you could get Jared Dudley because
that does. You trade on him.
He can do this series.
Skip. But here's the thing: if you look at they traded Chris Paul for Russ. They have the same record. I believe they were better last year with Chris Paul than they are this year. Now they might be more exciting.
I admire what Chris Paul is doing because he has turned them into the surprise of the year.
I totally agree. But Skip, this is like Daryl Morey is like just throwing stuff against the wall. He's like, I'm going, like you said, I'm going down. I'm gonna mess it up for somebody else. Because this makes no sense that you trade a guy that's averaging 14 and 14. I think he's the third leading rebounder in the West. I think he's the fourth or fifth overall. Drummond leads the NBA in rebounding.
Yep.
And you giving that up? And he's also your inside presence. The only inside presence you have on offense or defense, he's it. And you want to go with a wing.
Yeah, don't let Boston get a hold of him because it's going to change the playing field in the East.
But here's the thing, though. What you going to give up? You ain't giving up one of them young guns.
No.
Gordon Hayward?
Maybe.
Okay.
Would they take that money on? Because that's a lot of money. But remember, they gave Clint Capella a lot of money.
Yeah, almost $20 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they gave him $90 million total, 5 years, 90, and that was in July of 2018. And I thought,
that's
good
going
for them.
Moving forward, Skip, that's going to be a bargain. In 2 years, that's a bargain.
Okay.
For a guy that's giving you 14 and 14.
So I thought Philly was going to be much better than Philly has been. I don't know what's going on there, but something is going really wrong. Embiid's still got a beat-up hand.
Yeah.
He's got to tape it and ice it. And he had a decent game, but they are just infighting, and you got all kinds of Ben Simmons verses, and we're soft. And so that team is struggling. So if you let Capella go to Boston, all of a sudden Boston becomes...
Oh, Boston's a major player in the East.
Yeah. Then
they were already a major player in the East, but I don't know, even with him, I don't know if they can beat Milwaukee because they still ain't got an answer for Giannis. Giannis is the new LeBron of the East. You ain't got no answer for him.
Well, I'll bet the Pelicans are going to have an answer for Giannis tonight.
Don't do that.
His name is Zion.
Don't do that.
Yeah, watch. Just watch.
I'm looking forward to watching
Greek Freak gonna dunk. Greek Freak gonna dunk on him.
The real freak now plays for
Don't
the
do that.
Pelicans.
Don't do that. Don't try
I've
to
never
steal
seen
him.
anything like
Don't
it.
steal that man's name.
Just watch. Just watch.
All right.
Giannis.
Grizzlies guard Dylan Brooks made his thoughts on Andre Iguodala clear when he said he hopes Iggy gets traded before Thursday's deadline so that they can show him what Memphis is really about. Steph Curry jumped into the mix and posted a photo of Iguodala holding the Larry O'Brien trophy. Then this morning, John Morant fired back with a photo of Kevin Durant seemingly downplaying Iggy's value on those championship teams. So Shannon, what do you make of this?
I like it. I mean,
you like it?
It was Steph Curry defending his guy.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, hold on. You guys are new to the league. You ain't running anything. This guy's a champion.
Very new.
So John takes it like, hold on, bro. It's a new time now. And he's like, well, you got championship, but it's because of Kevin Durant, because he tweets out a picture of KD holding the trophy.
I know.
Like, and then he does the emoji like this, and shh. But Iggy got that Finals MVP before KD got there. Iggy was a valuable piece of those championship runs.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
And they told me they want to show what Memphis about. Iggy knows Beale Street and barbecue, and he wants no part of that.
But you know what? These young Grizz, they got some attitude.
They do.
And I like it. Because Dylan Brooks, that was a salvo that he fired off. And then I love Jaws. He's got, you know what?
Yeah.
He's got guts.
Yeah.
I'll say he's got guts because remember what he did to James Harden?
Yeah.
James just ignored him shooting a three early in that game they played 10 days ago?
Yeah.
And he said, tell that, you know what, who I am, right? Tell him about me. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Tell him about me. Well, now he's saying the same thing to Steph. I know who you are because you won because of that guy.
No,
right?
No.
Right?
There's a lot of guys going to Skip. There's a lot of guys going to the All-Star game in the Western Conference. Steph Curry's not going this year.
Yeah.
Now, you know Steph Curry is healthy. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson is also hurt.
Yep, I got it.
Hey, Steph Curry's a different animal now. You talk about a transcendent player.
But I like what
I like the trash talk. Yeah.
He's made of the right stuff.
So basically say, look, you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. And when you leave, we're going to show you what we're about.
And by the way, I said Oklahoma City was the biggest surprise. They're the second biggest surprise because they're clinging right in there in the 8th spot.
Nobody saw this, Skip. Nobody saw them being this good. I mean, I thought Ja Morant was good, but Skip, he might be better. I mean, the tricks that he's pulling off on a nightly basis, going between his legs.
He's making 39% of his threes, and I didn't see that.
Ja, be careful.
Yeah.
Just don't go too much on social media. That is it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.